Wow.
300 a day. And what's happening is there's a stigma attached to the lives that we are losing to this. And the stigma continues to be, and this is one of the things that I'm doing with changing the narrative, is this is not an overdose.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew did not know that the marijuana he got from his friend had fentanyl and xylazine.
Yes.
When you are given something, and you know, because you
Mm-hmm.
were a former police officer, when you're given something without your knowledge, that's not an overdose.
Mm. No.
That's a poisoning.
Yes, it is.
So that's also some of the narrative that we're trying to do with Achieve Greatness is talking with legislators, talking with senators, congressmen, our local officials here, the police department, the
Mm-hmm.
Board of Health, people like yourself getting on this platform to say, you know, either you're going to come together as a community and truly save lives, or then stop talking and being the problem,
Mm-hmm.
because then you're not trying to create the solution.
I agree.
And one of the things with me, and you know me, Charlie, my platform is, and I tell this to people, I was just asked by a reporter today from the
Mm-hmm.
Springfield News. They called me and she said, well, you know, Paula, what is your goal? And I kind of had to take a moment to answer her, because I said to
Mm-hmm.
her, I said, first of all, this isn't a goal.
Yeah.
What you need to understand is I don't want you to be me. I don't want you to bury your child as
Exactly.
I have had to. I want the children in this community to understand that whatever you have going on at home, please reach out to a loved one, a counselor at school,
Mm-hmm.
a friend, someone that you can talk to. Don't go and take something that you don't know might kill you. Because I tell people all the time, this is not the recreational drugs of our parents.
Mm-hmm.
You are literally playing Russian roulette today. I am not telling people do not go to the dispensary. I'm telling people go to the dispensary.
Yes.
What I am telling people is don't get it from someone you don't know. And even if you know the person,
Yeah.
in Andrew's case, he knew the person.
Mm-hmm.
The statistics today are showing that 75% of the folks, the loved ones that are being lost to fentanyl, they knew the person that gave it to them. And when they found them, that person was left alone.
True.
And you know this from what you do.
Mm-hmm.
The stats are there. So, at what point are we as a community going to say, you can't say it's not happening here because it is?
Yes, it is.
And you can't say it's not my child because I said the same thing. I knew nothing about fentanyl until this happened to us. And now I know more than what I would like to know. But I'm here because Andrew's legacy is not going to be how he passed away.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be how many lives he's about to save.
I agree. That's about the only way you can look at it, because I can't even. There's no way of explaining how you feel as a mom and the loss and the heartache. It is nothing but that you could actually get out of it, other than saying, "I'm going to try to save someone's life. I'm going to try," like you just said about not don't want you to go through it, and uh, I just God bless you for being as strong as you are, to be out in the public, to be on this radio station. All those things take a huge amount of strength, because a child is priceless. And I appreciate you being here. And in the future, you can always come here for anything that you want, especially on this podcast, because I know the type of person you are and the sincerity and the empathy that you have. So um, I would definitely make room on my schedule to get you on here.
Thank you, Charlie. I think one of the biggest things that I tell people when they say to me, Paula, you have strength, I think any grieving parent out there can call in and we can all tell you it's really not strength for us.
Mm-hmm.
What it is it's survival. This
Thank
is
you.
this is what it is. It's when you lose a child, you lose a piece of you. You knew me
Hmm.
prior to this. I'm in
Yes.
front of you today. I'm not the same person.
Mm.
And you know that.
Yeah.
And it's because you lose a piece of you that you will never get back
Mm.
ever. And there's a lot of parents out there. I've come across so many parents in this journey, and you start to know their children
Hmm.
by face, their story. There's a story, and I always tell this. I was just at the Teen Safety Summit at UMass Dartmouth with
Hmm.
the DA Quinn's office, and I have a banner that I created. It was a billboard, and there's 30 faces on there, Andrew being one of them. And there's a 17-year-old. His name is Zachary.
Mm.
Zachary used to live in Ohio. Zachary was an All American, All State, full ride to Ohio State for football.
Wow.
Zachary never had done any type of anything. He was complaining about muscle ache, was with some friends, thought he was getting a Motrin.
Hmm.
Zachary is now 6 feet underground. And this is the other thing that people need to understand is this is not someone who's doing it every day. This is someone, it could be the first time.
Hmm.
As we all know from being in the news, Snapchat
Yeah.
is a platform that the dealers are using.
Hmm.
Each emoji represents something. And that in itself is frightening.
Sure is.
Especially with yourself being in law enforcement, you saw it way before. Because one of the things I tell people is this is not new.
Hmm.
Fentanyl has been around since 2017. It started in Philadelphia with the xylazine,
Hmm.
and now it's coming here down here, and now it's the next epidemic. That's what it is.
Yes.
And either we're going to step up to the plate with our local officials, with our mayor, with the folks that are in City Hall, the Congress people, and say we're going to come together. We're going to stand beside you. We're going to save our kids.
Hmm.
Or, like I tell people, get the hell out of my way because then I'm going to do it.
Yes. That's it. If they're lax and kind of half stepping about it, just move forward. Most every fight that you do, especially when you're asking for politicians for some help, um, you truly don't need them. There's a lot of things you can put on the floor is just as a citizen, a registered voter. There's so many things that you can do. So when they're lax and they're not moving, then that's when you push it forward on your own and get it started. They have to answer it. There's always something. Once it's brought forward, it has to be answered. So and it has to come to a vote. So um, the you talked about a March 9th event. Let's
Yes.
talk about that.
So, Achieve Greatness, for anybody who wants to pull us up, it's achievegreatness88.org. And someone asked me the other day, they said, well, what does 88 stand for? Because that was when Andrew was born,
Hmm.
1988. So it's achievegreatness88.org. We are having many events coming up. I'm actually doing one next week up in Springfield. We're doing a golf tournament. In August, there is an event coming up in Martha's Vineyards. I think you heard about it, the event for the basketball event with the Boys and Girls Club that they do every year. We have been asked to not just attend, but we're also going to be guest speakers. So we are partnering up now with Martha's Vineyards and to also bring forth awareness there. I am going to have a bike run at the end of September. Yes, I
Hmm.
don't, as you know, I don't know anything about motorcycles,
Hmm.
but I can tell you some of the wonderful biker folk
Hmm.
people I have come across have
Yes.
been amazing to me. And they're helping me to do this bike run because right now in the state of Massachusetts, no one is doing a bike run for fentanyl awareness.
Hmm.
We're doing it.
Great.
In March 9th, Achieve Greatness is going to have a fundraising event at Century House. We are going to have Joaquin Santos.
Hmm.
Everybody knows Joaquin. He is
Yes.
very well known. Joaquin is very near and dear to me, and
Hmm.
he wanted to be involved with this. We are having Brian Ribeiro. DJ
Mm-hmm.
Fresco.
Fresco, yes.
He's going to be our DJ.
Great young man.
He wanted to also be involved in this platform. And we're having a magician by the name of Will Fern,
Mm-hmm.
Willfern, which is actually Phil's college buddy from
Mm,
URI days.
nice.
He's a professional magician. He's coming to do it for free. And what we're doing is we're bringing forth awareness, but also letting the community know that, you know, yes, I lost my oldest son. Yes, I have other children, but your children still matter to me.
Mm-hmm.
You matter to me. I was just at an event just yesterday, and they were talking about substance abuse. And we have so many people in our community with substance abuse, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
And what I can say to you is they're human also,
Yes.
and they deserve to be listened to. They deserve to be helped. And with Achieve Greatness, we're focusing on the mental health, the substance abuse, and what happened with in our case. So we're tackling everything
Mm-hmm.
because, as you know, with mental health, no one wants to talk about it. And I'm going to quote a good friend of mine in Boston who's an advocate.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, Paula, they don't want to talk about it because it's not sexy.
Yeah.
Well, I'm talking about it.
It's got that taboo. Um, it's that everything. Mental health is like they just, especially around my age, they just don't want to.
It's not work.
Oh, all right, let's change that. That's very important. So,
Yes, but mental health and the stigma that comes with mental health. And there's just so much going on in our community. And I will never take away from the programs that are out there helping folks in substance abuse because it is very important. Um, but I also think that together we can do, I always say together we can be stronger.
hmm yes. Um, Speaking of strong supporter of the WNB1 radio and the Really Charlie podcast, Damon Amanda says, "Love you, Paula, and proud of your flight to bring about change," which is very important. If we, if it wasn't doing this, who could you say is doing this right now? What you're doing. Who's doing it? Do you know? Is there many organizations around there trying to do something similar to what you're doing? Um, and me being naive to it, I would have to say no. And I would also have to say thank you for doing this because as my family gets older, my kids are all grown and I have grandchildren, and this is the time. This is the time that especially the older one, where you're in middle school and things happen. What you teach them not to do at home, they may learn the bad things within an hour lunchtime, an hour before school or after school, and get turned on to something because you can't be everywhere. But you try to raise your kids so they can make mature and safe decisions at all times when you're not there. So talking about it is very, very important. And I hope that after people hear us on WNB1 radio and listen to the podcast on Facebook and at least have that conversation with their children so they can be safe. It's very smart that you had said, to make sure where you're getting it, where the source is, where that item's coming from, and making sure that it is it's safe. And so many chemicals out there. It's almost like people, society are being tested. They're being tested or experimented on by someone that just wants to play a little game in their, whether it's in their home or in their warehouse, wherever they may be, to kind of dib and dab with different things and then throw it out there in society, which is similar to, the crack epidemic and all the other things that have come across the society in our lifetime. So, But keep up the good work, and I'm going to continue to do whatever I can for you. So
Thank you.
please share everything that you have on my page. Tag me. I, I don't care. You don't need my permission. Just do it.
I'll always ask your permission.
Yeah.
But I can tell you that that's a good segue to what you talked about, because that's one of the things that I was asked many times by reporters when they're talking to me. They say, Paula, why would the cartel want to kill off their base?
Hmm.
Well, in simple terms, and this being
Yeah.
in former law enforcement, when you have a platform like Facebook and Instagram,
Hmm.
Snapchat that has 10 million people, and you have just had 100,000 folks that are now gone, you have 9 million that are still waiting in the wings.
Hmm.
They don't care.
No.
They are literally running a $1 billion corporation like an organization.
Hmm.
And this is what people need to truly understand. This is not, they don't care how many kids they kill off. They don't care, because to them it's all about the money.
Hmm.
That's all they care about.
Yeah.
And until people start to realize this, and they start to realize that this is a plague, this is a crisis that is in our community. I tell people all the time, this is not a Democrat and Republican issue.
Hmm.
This is a United States of
Yeah.
America issue.
It's about humanity, and even goes beyond our country, and worldwide. It's definitely touching every continent, and we just have to kind of use the resources and the um, just the power that this country has, over the world, to kind of just be an example of, and sometimes we're the example in the bad way, in the wrong way. We just have to be an example of being proactive, especially when it comes to things like fentanyl.
You have to, because unfortunately, as we know, and now they're making it into carfentanil. So
Hmm.
now it's even stronger. So now the fentanyl is no longer the high that people were getting, because now
Hmm.
they're going back for more, and they don't care. They're literally, this is people who are mixing this up in their own home, in the basement, in
Hmm.
their kitchen, whatever. These are not chemists. These are
Yeah.
not pharmacists. These are people that are paid to do this, to kill off a society. There's someone that I follow on Facebook. His name is Michael Fiore, Fiore, and he is a former substance abuse for 20 years.
Hmm.
And if he were here today, he would say to you, they are exterminating a whole
Hmm.
generation. That's what they're doing. And that's how he quotes it,
Hmm.
because that's literally what's happening. And you have to talk to your loved ones. You have to talk to your kids. Right now, fentanyl is the number one killer in the United States between 18 and 45. The number one. It has surpassed a car accident, cancer. It surpassed all of that. It is the number one killer. You have kids between the ages of 9 and 17 that are experimenting,
Hmm.
including vaping, all the way 9 years old vaping. What do you think they're doing?
It's the curiosity, is
Correct.
is just overwhelming. It's and that's a lot of things that we may have experienced over our lifetime, and some of the experiments and the curiosity. It just so happens that this particular curiosity is very deadly. And I'm not saying things of the past were not deadly, but this is definitely, it's easy access. It's it doesn't matter where you come from. You're gonna be rich, poor, in between. It's accessible to our kids, to our families, and so we really have to stop paying attention. Those numbers are staggering, because accidents happen every day, and for it to be bigger numbers than that, bigger numbers than everything else. And I actually I seen your post on that earlier, and so I will actually be stealing that page later.
Go ahead, you can steal it.
So,
And that's the thing. And I think it's like I said, it's bringing forth the awareness and
hmm
the education of this, because so many people. And I'll give you an example. When I was at the Safety Teen Summit at UMass Dartmouth, all the kids that were coming up to the table, they saw the banner with all the faces, and they
hmm
were like, "Hey, ma'am, what's that?" And I explained to them what that was.
hmm
None of them knew that it can be in their marijuana. The same thing that they had just finished smoking or going to smoke,
hmm
they did not know that it can be in the marijuana.
yeah, and
And it just totally blew them away. And they were like, what? And again, you have, if you go on YouTube, it's stats after stats after stats of state labs, Connecticut, police officers in Boston talking about how the fentanyl was in marijuana. This was a year and 2 and 3 years ago.
hmm
So this is not new. The problem is that you have some, and I won't put it out there, but some who will not talk about this. They talk about the one pill can kill.
hmm
Yes, there is between six, the stats right now from the DEA and the CDC, when you have pills, 6 out of those 10 pills are now containing fentanyl.
wow.
But now let's put aside the pills.
hmm
Now you have Coke, you have meth, you have the marijuana, you have the vape. They're turning it into gummies. They made it into Skittles. They don't care.
No.
We have a whole generation that is literally being wiped out. Your future teachers, leaders, police officers, mayors, public officials, they are being taken out by this.
hmm
And I just don't see enough awareness about it. I don't. And
Yeah.
this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. Because, I've said to people, you're either going to stand with me and
hmm
we're going to save lives, or get out of my way.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. The you have to be determined. Definitely have to have that will and desire, because not everybody wants to be empathetic towards you and what you're trying to say. And they said, "All right, well, meanwhile, they said, "All right, I'll talk to you next Tuesday." Meanwhile, how many lives are done are gone for that week, within that week,
Yeah.
within that 24 hours?
Mm-hmm.
Tons and tons of people are losing their lives based on someone that wants to put you off for a week or more. And so when you have those obstacles, you got to just say, "Hey, you know what? I don't need you. You are not a obstruction. I'm going to move forward, and I'm going to keep on doing what I have to save a life." And I like how you put that. The reporter was asking you, "What is your goal?" And it's not a goal. I'm just trying to save a life, save many lives. Um, you're actually being an advocate, an EMT. That's what you're doing. So, but I I have some good memories of Andrew, and I just know he's here, right here with us, and
Oh, he's definitely around
guiding
all the time.
guiding us, and remember when he first announced that he had the job in basketball, and how excited he was, and that's just amazing. I mean, as much as I liked coaching, I had a great time doing it. But to just see, the spark and his post when he talked about, coaching and everything was great. It was great. So,
And I tell people all the time, I say, Andrew wasn't perfect, but none of us are.
no, we're not.
But he was very passionate, as you know,
hmm
for a fact how passionate it was, especially when he came to his sports teams. You remember the
Yeah.
Jets,
Yep.
because you guys would always battle over that.
hmm
The Jets are his team, but he didn't deserve to die.
No.
And this is my fear within our community, is when someone is given something for the first time and now you have that parent having to go pick out a casket.
hmm
That's what I'm trying to prevent.
And, I mean, I appreciate you. I appreciate you doing this. And I mean, the one thing is, I liked how you had the assertiveness to just say, "Hey, Charlie, I want to come on your show," and um, and that's what you have to do. Would I have reached out to you? Um, Probably not, because I didn't know about the organization. I didn't know about that. So even I got to pay attention to you a little bit more. So I appreciate you and what you're doing, and I'm going to definitely be an advocate and a supporter on the with the organization, and share it on the Really Charlie podcast. Um, as much as I can, as much as you post things, then I'm going to share it, because now you are officially a podcast guest.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I thank you for giving me this platform, because I think one of the biggest things with this is, there's so many parents out there, as I mentioned, that I've come across, and the stories are horrific. There's a mom right here in New Bedford. I apologize, in Dartmouth, Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
She lost two of her boys.
Wow.
So, when people, what people don't understand about when you lose a child is there's a domino effect that comes with it. Not only are you no longer the same person, but many of the people that you had around you are the first ones who will now no longer have anything to do with you,
I agree.
because they just can't handle that you're no longer who they knew.
Mm-hmm.
But I tell people all the time, I don't want you to be me, because this is every day I wake up and I relive my nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't go away because it's been a year. It's never going to go away until I'm no longer here.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can do anything while I am here, it's to save lives.
Yes.
It's to make sure that Andrew's dream and vision are brought to fruition as he wanted it to. And of course, along the way, we have a board of directors. In fact, Marcus Houtman, as
Mm-hmm.
everybody knows in the community, he's our director of IT. He's
Very good.
amazing.
Good man.
He's him and his brother Isaiah are doing the
Another great
educational
man. Yep.
platform with
Mm-hmm.
Achieve Greatness. He's helping with the basketball. Rob Delalue,
Mm-hmm.
he's a board member.
Another great man.
So,
Got a trifecta there.
exactly. Yes. So when Phil and I decided to do this, we wanted to bring forth people in the community
Mm-hmm.
that had an impact, but were also boots on the ground.
Yeah.
I don't need somebody in a three-piece suit to sit on a board to tell me what to do when you have no knowledge of the city and the youth here.
Mm-hmm.
I needed people who are from here and engraved here, even more so than myself, as you know.
Yeah. Yep. There's always there's those particular um, advocates that are out there that that don't have those titles as an advocate. They're just doing it, And those three men are definitely doing it, just for the love of humanity, and they're mentoring many, many people on a daily basis. And I think that you all choosing those three, and then those three accepting it, the accepting it is 5 stars. That's I don't think you could get any better than those three.
Yeah.
Um, that was a great choice, and along with you, you are that engine, because even though you pick marvelous people, you're definitely going to be the engine for your organization. Um, so you keep on doing what you're doing,
Thank you.
and if you need a timeout, that's when friends and family should actually step it up for you. And I hope that everyone's doing that for you.
Well, it's interesting because I did another podcast with New Bedford Light.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know when they're putting that out. It's been quite some time. But one of the questions that the reporter asked me, she said, Paula, have you gotten compassion from within the community? And I had to take a moment to answer that, because unfortunately, I haven't.
Mm-hmm.
And the people who I thought were going to be there are the first ones who turned away. And I understand, and I've had to take a step back and understand that if you don't know what the effect of this is, I can't expect everyone to understand my grief.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want you to understand my grief, but at the same time, you don't have to have lost a child to have compassion.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I think we're missing in the world, not just in the community, but in the world.
I agree.
I had a meeting with someone. It was a local official. I won't say who on
Mm-hmm.
air. And this person said to me in a meeting, and I was actually with Claydair Timms
Mm-hmm.
Matumbo. You know
Yeah.
him. He's
Mm-hmm.
also part of Achieve Greatness, him and his brother. And the person said to me, well, Paula, you can't tell people how your son passed away because you don't have anything from a state lab.
Wow.
Really? Because a medical examiner is a state lab.
Mm-hmm.
A medical examiner toxicology report is a state lab. So if you don't want to talk about this in your community,
Mm-hmm.
that's you.
Yeah.
But don't you ever tell me that I can't tell my story.
An ME determines a lot. ME determines so many things, from whether someone moves forward to a funeral director, or if someone moves forward to uh, an autopsy. An ME is one of the most powerful people in the community and society, because they determine so many things. So, whoever that foolish person is, man or woman, they need to step back and just practice what they preach, or at least know what they're preaching. And obviously that person doesn't know what the hell they're talking about. So the I want to do this again with you, and but I want you to if there's anything else you want to tell us, share on the radio station, let me know. You can do it now, but we definitely have to do this again. And I don't care if we, like, no, you and I, it could be on another given day other than the day that we're on the podcast, but we can just have a conversation where I can record it, pre-record it, and then we'll put it on. That's not a problem at all. We can have even if it's just audio and not video. You know, I don't like to go on video. I might have a bad hair day, so I'll do it on audio.
Yeah, well, you saw how I walked in. Yeah, and I think that this is wonderful. And again, I thank you for giving me the platform, and Brian, of course,
Hmm.
because it's a it's a huge important issue that many don't want to talk about,
Yes.
and you can't continue to put this under the rug because we have so many people that are struggling. I mean, you talked about the medical examiner, but what about our paramedics in our city
Hmm.
that are going to these calls day after day, and they're having to Narcan these people
Hmm.
more than once?
Yes.
And then you have the fire department and the numbers that they see on a daily and weekly basis. I mean, again, it's the domino effect that no one wants to talk about.
True.
And we have to come together and just say, either we're going to support each other and we're going to stand side by side, or then you're going to continue to be part of the problem.
Yes. We Well, I want to be part of the solution, and I'm here for you. Let's do this again, even if we talk on a weekly basis. 15, 20 minutes, something that might have come across your table, and you just want to pass it on,
Yeah.
and just let me know. Send me a message, call me, and we'll do a quick recording, and then we'll get it out there.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Charlie.
All right. You are listening to WNB1 Radio, and this is the Really Charlie podcast. My guest, Paula Young, and she is definitely here, full fledged, ready to save some lives, and I'm going to be there with her. as much as I can. You heard the names of the people that she is definitely involved in, and the organization is Achieve Greatness 88.org. Check it out, share it. That's the one thing you can do is try to share it on your social media sites, and just get the word out because someone may read it and get educated just based off the site. So, and please share, and like the Really Charlie podcast on YouTube. Um, and also add WNB1 radio to your devices, Apple and Android, so you can listen to the music of WNB1 radio 24 hours, 7 days out of the week. All right. Paula, my friend, all right. It's, end of the podcast. And, but I'm here for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You know, you have my number. So just call, text, whatever it may be. And I'll do whatever I can for you.
I know you will.
All right. All right. Let's play a few commercials. And all right. All right, I'll be with you momentarily, and we will play some R&B music very, very soon, up until the 9 o'clock hour, here on WNB1 Radio.